Hey folks, Charlie Sims here. Welcome to my channel. Hope you're having a lovely day and thank you for joining me for another house build. And today we're building a house, except this time it's on a hill, which is exciting. I don't tend to do houses on hills. I'll tell you why. The lots tend to be can be quite small in the Sims. This one's quite decent sized, but what you tend to find in the Sims is the surrounding area is flat, which doesn't really lend itself to blending your terrain. So I find it quite difficult to use landscaping on a small lot, making sure that all of the edges kind of blend so that they're flat, which is, like, as you can see, what I've tried to do here. I saw a really cool image on Pinterest, and it made me attempt to do this again, and I actually end up, I don't know why, but I end up having a really smooth slope. And you can have harsh slopes. I say harsh slopes. You can have terrain where there's such a contrast in terrains that there's paint, so that there might be like brown terrain paint if you increase the slope a lot. And like, that's fine, because if you don't like it, you can cover it with like plants and other things. But I decided to have like a gentle edge here. I don't know why. But yeah, so what I really wanted was, I wanted a sloping driveway, and I wanted a car on it. And if you're on the channel a lot, or like you've been following me for a while, you might notice that I also achieved a sloping driveway using a roof piece. I'll link that. I'll link that video for you now. So there's a couple of ways to achieve a sloping driveway. I recently tried to do both, just for fun, I think, just for a bit of a challenge. And it was definitely more challenging this way, mostly because the garden ended up sloping downwards, but I made it work. I actually think the garden ends up being really cute, and like, I've got a storyline for this, like a family in mind and everything, which I don't normally have with my builds, but I was actually finding it really difficult. I was finding it really difficult to furnish, this house without some sort of story behind it. So we end up making a very fun and eclectic looking conservatory / living room space on the left hand side of the house. You can probably see it's the one with the big floor to ceiling windows on the left hand side. That ends up being a very eclectic, maximalistic looking conservatory. The maximalistic pack had just come out and I was loving it. Still do love a lot of the stuff that we got with the pack. But anyway, when I was doing this, it kind of reminded me of like your typical granny's living room, which made me think that like a nan lives here. And that this was like the house that she used to share with her kids and her husband. And I was thinking that her husband had passed away, which is like pretty morbid for me, to be honest, but like it does happen. And I was thinking, from like how I furnished this home, that was kind of like what I imagined. So yeah, I basically just imagined this huge home that basically this older woman now kind of potters about in. I also end up changing the lot because there is no garden space, as you can see. So we end up moving lots to a much bigger one in Newcrest. And I actually, before we get into the storyline, I don't tell you guys this enough on my channel, but every time I upload a video, in the description box down below, I include the price of the lot, where I have placed this lot, and the dimensions of the lot. And that is basically, if you wanted to download this build, you could put it on the lot that I built and intended it for, or you could put it on a different lot that you had in mind, knowing the dimensions. So that's why I do that in every video. It's in the description box down below. Maybe in my earlier videos I don't include it, but I've certainly included it for the last 10 to 20 videos. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's something that I've started doing. So if you're interested in downloading this house, you can see all of those details in the description box below. Anyway, back to the storyline. So yeah, I was thinking that her kids moved out, and her husband unfortunately passed away, and she was kind of pottering about in this huge family home that she has. And I was thinking her older daughter. So I was thinking that she had two daughters. One of them moved out, got married, has kids, and she's actually a grandmother. And then her other kid has recently moved back after being, I was thinking she was in San Myshuno in an apartment, trying to make her own way in life, maybe a struggling actress or something. And I was thinking that it hadn't really worked out, and she's moved back home into her old room to do a university course from home. So that's kind of how the bedrooms are. So there's a bed, basically a teenager's bedroom that the mom had never changed, because she's got so many rooms in her house. Well, I mean, not even that many rooms in the house, but enough, right? So she's left that, and then her old daughter's moved back into her teenage room, which I'm sure she just can't wait to get out of, because her style's probably completely changed since then and everything. But yeah, that's kind of the story that I had in mind. And then I also had in mind that her other child lives close by, and she's married with kids, and the grandkids come over often and visit her in this huge home. And I even put a slip and slide in the backyard actually for the grandkids, mostly because the backyard is very long and short, a little bit like the house. The house is extremely long, and obviously that slip and slide is 1x6 tiles or something, 1x7, 1x8. So it was kind of perfect to put in this long garden. I'm actually really happy with the garden, and this in general, this house took me a while to furnish the inside because it's so big, and the rooms are so huge. You'll see in a minute, this is probably the smallest room. Actually, this room is my favourite. So I started this build when the Maximalist kit came out, and then I finished this build when High School Years came out, and that's why I made a teenage bedroom for it. I actually ended up changing it quite a bit, but I cut out what I originally did, and then you guys will only see what I end up with. So for example, I had a whole different room before I turned it into a teen room, but you guys will only see me building the teen room, because otherwise I just find you'll just pointlessly watch. I don't know, unless you like that, let me know what you like. But I thought it seemed a little bit pointless to show you guys the process, like, unless you like the process. As I said, let me know. But yeah, I end up really liking this room. I really like the Sputnik lights and just everything that we got with the Maximalist pack. I know we got it ages ago, but I intended to get this out like a lot sooner, but you know, life happens, and I just didn't get it out as soon as I would like. I also end up swapping that table at the back. I end up swapping that for a games table because I was kind of imagining that she had her friends round for like a games night, like once a week. Like maybe they play bridge or something. So I swapped that out for a game table, the base game table. And yeah, the aesthetic here is plants, lots of antiques, and I was thinking she hoarded a little bit as well. So it's 3 bedroom, 1 bedroom's hers, the other bedroom's the teenage bedroom that she hasn't done anything with, that her eldest daughter has now moved into. And then the other room is like a junk room. It's like hoarder's paradise. I also think like partially because like she's a bit older, and you know, I think like it's more difficult to kind of like, you know, go to the tip, you know, move, like lug about all of your things. I think it's like, you know, a bit more difficult to do. But yeah, I was thinking that the mom used to be the grandmom used to be an artist, so all of her arts in the garage and her easels in the garage and everything. Yeah, and I'm sure you noticed at the start that I kind of made a faux garage. This has been done before, but yeah, I did the little faux garage trick, which is just to place that snowy escape door down, put on the flat foundation that is literally just it's just like a white trim, and then you can with the tool mod you can lower the door. You can like elevate the door and lower it, and then bring it out a little bit with the tool mod as well, and then I did that like on both sides, and that kind of gives it effect of like a garage door that's lower than your front door. But anyway, yeah, the kitchen, as you can see, is also huge and was an absolute nightmare. I mean, not a nightmare, it just took me a really long time. You guys, you never see how long this takes me because I just cut a load of stuff out. But yeah, this just took me ages. It was just big. There ended up being a lot of space in the middle that I didn't know what to do with. I actually ended up putting a counter in, but it took me a while to put an island in the kitchen because I thought that it might have been I thought that it just might have been a little bit, you know, cluttered with the island, and I like rooms where you're able to walk around the room. So yeah, I wanted to make sure that you could walk around it and that it didn't look too cluttered. And actually, like the island, yeah, it worked, but it's a while until we put the island down. But yeah, I'm just cluttering up this cute shelf that I put. The windows are extremely tall in this room. Yeah, I tend to do the windows on the outside, and it's just, you know, however they look in the middle, but these look really high. So the dining table is like under the windows, which is like quite weird, but I think it's okay. And then I end up adding this really fun, cute rug. I move this dining table so many times, but it does end up under that shelf because I think like it's a bit fun. Also add a fireplace here, loads of radiators. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that radiators are my favourite object, because there's so many radiators in England. I just think they're super realistic, and I end up putting radiators everywhere. And honestly, I would use that Snowy Escape electric heater. I just always forget about it, but I never forget about the vampires radiators for some reason. Anyway, this ends up being, I'm pretty sure this ends up being 3 bathroom, and I think I only show 1 bathroom. So this is extremely awkward shaped bathroom, but I've tested it and it works fine. You can actually get in that bathroom, even though it does look like the shower's like obscuring the door. You can get to it. But yeah, I'm just cluttering up with towels and things, and I think I put a little rug down by the shower. And yeah, that's basically that was basically the bathroom downstairs, the only downstairs bathroom. To my knowledge, there's at least 1 upstairs, if not 2, but it's been a while since I did this build, so I can't really remember, but it should also be in the description box down below, because sometimes I do add the details of the home in the description box down below. Yeah, but as you can see, I'm just adding some more paintings, and we've got so much painting clutter in The Sims, just crazy really. How it's accumulated. But yeah, I didn't really like the look of that white trim very much, so we end up like covering the majority of the white trim up with just like easels and canvases and paintings and things like that, and just garage clutter really. Also end up putting washing in here as well, which is new, because I don't normally put washing in, but sometimes if I feel like it I do. There's a little robot vac there as well, some washing baskets, because I'll probably forget to put them in the bedrooms, and yeah, this is the kind of like art studio. I was also thinking that the Nan had got into knitting. I know, super unique and unusual idea of the Nan knitting, but hey, what else can older people do in The Sims? So she knits, like all of my elders, they knit. But now I'm using the tool mod to rotate this car so that it actually looks like an uphill driveway. And I'm really happy that I was able to do this. If you pull a car out and try and do this, persevere. Well, how can I say this? You might have pulled out the wrong car. Like, depending on what car you pull out, some of them don't rotate and some of them do rotate and flip. Yeah, there's like 2 different types in the debug menu. One of them rotates, one of them doesn't. So pull out a couple of different cars, test it out if you're getting frustrated with the tool mod, because it does work. It just depends on what car you pick. Anyway, I have seen that we have 2 bathrooms. So yeah, there's at least 2 bathrooms. I actually don't think there's another one. I think there's just 2. But now we're making the granny's bedroom, and she's got like the big bay window here. And then she's got a closet, and yeah, probably a rocking chair and more knitting stuff. I can't quite remember. Yes, she does. And I think plants, and I should probably just stop guessing. But yeah, her room was kind of predominantly green. I thought that would be like a fun colour scheme that I don't know, I don't tend to use for old people's bedrooms. So, and of course the cats and dogs bed, because yeah, I just love that quilt. It looks handmade as well. And this is the kind of junk bedroom, really, just like mementos, you know, things that hoarders keep, you know, just like everything really. Cabinets full of antiques, paperwork that hasn't been organised, old kids' toys. There's little I put a hard drive on the floor. Like, there's so much clutter in here. I really wanted it to look like, I don't know, everything from her past, all of her kids' stuff, just everything in one room that she put there, and thought, I'll deal with it at another time and I'll sort the mementos out and go to the car boot, and she just hasn't. There's a really lovely antique display cabinet here that we got from the paranormal stuff that I really don't use enough. I think it's the colours. I just don't use it enough at all. I'm gonna have to start doing some pack restricted builds where I just pick a stuff pack, a game pack, and an expansion pack. Maybe I'll roll the dice or do a random number generator, and I just have to get reacquainted with all those build objects. I think that's actually such a good idea. I'm going to actually have to do that. I'm just really enjoying just using all the packs right now. Sometimes, I get fed up and it's just all about it's all about the pack restricted builds, because I can't find things, and it takes me ages to look through the catalogues, and I get really fed up. But lately I've just really been enjoying just utilising all of the packs, to be honest. But yeah, now we are finally on the landscaping and outside. I was kind of avoiding this, as you can see, just really awkward. So what happens is, as well, when you decide to use terrain tools, and you place shrubbery down, they end up at the highest part of the terrain that you put down, and then you have to lower them with the tool mod, and it's like a whole thing. I did lower all of the plants and it did take me ages. I think it was worth it because I think it ended up looking really cool. We also smooth out the garden, fence the garden in, lower the garden fence, because you also have to lower the garden fence. You also have to use debug fence when you use terrain tools as well. So it's just a whole thing, and I think that's why I end up not really using terrain. But it is fun every now and then, to use the terrain tools. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to, but yeah, I don't have it on camera, but I do kind of go around and lower all of these plants. And I'm just pulling out just a right assortment of plants, really, like some reds, some purples, some yellows, some pinks. A lot of greens. Just wanted some nothing too prim and proper. Some quite overgrown plants. But I thought they looked really nice. I also thought this front porch furniture looked really cute as well. Really like that. Yeah, I end up kind of adding some terrain paint here as well, so it's not just grass. They do actually get out their car, walk on some terrain, and then go up into their house. And this is fully tested, so they can actually get into the house, and use everything. But yeah, once I end up fencing it in, the gardening, this is another reason this took me a while as well, because I kept thinking what I should do with the garden. And actually I end up using you'll see in a bit, but I end up using something from the high school pack, and I just end up absolutely loving the garden in the end. But for ages I was just stumped. I was just like, what do I put here? It's got some decking, a load of grass, now what? And obviously it's sloped on both sides, so it's super awkward. But yeah, I actually saw this little flower patch on Pinterest, so this is like the inspiration here with the iron fence. And usually you can tell how stumped I am because of how much I move about. So after we do this little garden patch, we're back in the kitchen sorting out the island that I'm not sure whether to do. We've completely moved the location of the sink. It's like a whole thing. I don't think we end up moving it back either, because I make some storage under the stairs. This originally ends up being round, and I can't remember whether we keep it round or not. It looks a little bit odd being round, but maybe. Yeah, I think I keep that. Okay, cool. It's bizarre what the decisions that past me makes, but yeah, I actually think that's quite nice. But yeah, I'm just getting some clutter out, and then just adding this kind of under the stairs, cabinet really. Built-in shelving unit under the stairs, I guess. I think that looks really nice. And I think we just add like a rug, and then that's basically the kitchen, and I think that's really nice. And now we're on to the teenage room. So I had basically left this build for ages, and then high school years came out, so this is me like just enjoying myself really with the new pack, getting that little swing chair out, and the cute new modular furniture. I just love it. I feel spoiled, honestly. They've just spoiled us. I mean, in my opinion, like, what do you guys think? I personally feel, my wedding stories, not gameplay. I'm not talking about gameplay, by the way. I couldn't possibly comment. I'm just talking about, build items. 3 kits. 3 kits. My wedding stories. High school years, werewolves high school years. I feel spoiled personally, and yeah, like, it's nice. It is nice, but yeah, I'm just adding like your generic teen clutter, your bespoke kind of mirror, makeup, come desk station. I feel like we all had one. Well, I mean, at least I didn't have a separate desk and a separate, like, vanity table. They were like one in the same. So I kind of did that here. And then I was thinking that she liked yoga and art. I didn't exactly think what she was retraining in. As I said, I think she might have been a struggling artist or a struggling actress or something like that, and she's thinking of maybe like just like retraining. Sure, I don't think that's the word, but she's thinking of retraining, going into like a completely different fields, maybe like in STEM, because there's like a lot of jobs and it's not as competitive, something like that. I was thinking like something along those lines. But anyway, this is me finally figuring out what to do with the garden, and yeah, what do you think? So what I ended up doing was I ended up putting the 2 My Wedding Stories awnings together, and then using these curtains from high school years. And yeah, I just think it ends up looking like a really kind of private, secluded, cozy place. And I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do that given how big and open the garden was. So I'm really happy about that. This is the slip and slide that I think fits perfectly next to this as well. And then there's like a barbecue area, a couple of lounges where I was thinking, you can go and watch kids. Like a separate table and chairs here, all blue, because I thought like that was kind of fun. And yeah, there's just some steps down to like more garden, And yeah, I thought that was nice. I mean, sorry, that was like a quick snippet, but you'll see some more in the screenshots. But yeah, like I quite enjoyed that. But now we're kind of on to the landing space, and then soon we'll be on to the screenshots. So I hope you enjoyed this. Enjoy the screenshots. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you'd like to see more content from me, please hit subscribe. Catch you later.